Hey everyone, it's Wendy. I am making some stovetop granola. I don't know if you've ever made granola, but it is so much less money to make your own than it is to buy from the store. And the best part is if you have picky eaters or if you have food allergies, you can make whatever everybody wants and leave out the other ingredients, swap the mix-ins, whatever works for you. So this is the Brilliance weeknight skillet. It does come with a lid that I just don't need right now. And these are oats, just the whole rolled oats, and pumpkin seeds and sliced almonds, but you can use pecans. I've used sunflower seeds, whatever works for you. I'm going to add some shredded coconut also, which is in the recipe. Again, if you don't like coconut, you don't need to use it. And we're gonna let this finish toasting. You could see that it started toasting, but it's not quite done yet. And don't skip this step because the toasting part is what makes this granola, okay? It gets that nice nutty flavor. You're not going to get that if you just mix the oats up, okay? All right, so while this finishes and the coconut gets toasted, I'm gonna bring you over here so that you can see how to make the syrup that goes on top of the granola, okay? So it is, I'm using maple syrup because I found that the maple syrup does not make the granola sticky as the same as honey does. But if you like honey better, you can use that. You can use agave, whatever. So I'm going to just use the Measure All measuring cup because I can just plunger this out. It's always good for all those sticky foods like yogurt and honey, peanut butter, mayonnaise, any of that kind of stuff. And it will measure also solids as well as liquids. So your liquids go in here, all your solids go in here, and use that for all your sticky stuff so you can plunger it out nice and easy. And let me grab my whisk, I forgot to get that. Okay, and then to this, we're going to add some brown sugar. I'm using my stainless steel scoops, by the way. How cool are these? So they're nice and durable, and I really wedged that brown sugar in there. We're also gonna add a teaspoon of cinnamon. But they have all the measurement marks on the inside, and it works really good for when you're making the granola because if you're off just a little bit, it doesn't matter. But it's also easy to scoop the oats out of the bag or the container, and I'm going to use that also for my dried cranberries. So you can use whatever dried fruit you want. If you prefer raisins, you can use that, or you can use the craisins. You could do dried cherries or any of those other dried fruits. And we're just gonna scoop that, and it's gonna go right in along with the syrup. All right, and then this you could just whisk together. Now, depending on what you use as your sweetener, you might need to put this in the microwave or you might need to cook this in the skillet. But with the maple syrup and the brown sugar, I find that this is plenty because we're gonna pour this over the hot oats. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the stove again so that I could show you how we put the rest of this together. All right, let me just bring this over, bring you over. There we go. All right, so let's see what our oats are doing. They smell so good. I wish you guys could smell this because they smell so amazing. Do you see how these are getting nice and toasted now? And the nuts and the seeds are toasting. So's the coconut. I could see that also is starting to get brown. Okay, so this is just about done. So while this is finishing up, we're going to just mix in those craisins. And we're going to add our syrup. And you just pour this right over the top. And I still have the gas on. You want this to be warm because you want your syrup to get mixed into all the oats and the nuts and everything else, all that yumminess that you've put in your granola. And of course, if you prefer, you can add some chocolate chips at the end if you like a little bit of chocolate, or like I said, whatever nuts or seeds you would rather have in here, that's all good too. It really doesn't matter. You can make it your own. This recipe is more of just a guide. I did double the batch, by the way, so this pot is a good size. You can cook a whole dinner for 4 in this skillet all at one time. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat off so that we don't overcook the syrup. But you want to get this all nice and coated, so all your oats are coated. And oh my gosh, this smells so good. I just got that great whiff of maple cinnamon scent. So yummy. All right. Also, make sure you're using one of your silicone scrapers when you're stirring this, because it is sticky, and this is a great kitchen tool so that you don't have this big lump of granola sitting on your scraper, your spoon, whatever you're using to mix with. So this is my preferred. And if you're using a Pampered Chef one, you're not going to melt it, because the head of these is heat safe to 650 degrees. So if you don't have one of these, then be sure to get one, because they are so useful. I use them all the time, not just for baking, but I use them all the time on the stove top too. Especially when I'm stirring something like this that's kind of sticky. All right, oh my gosh, this looks so delicious. You see how nice that looks? Okay, so we're going to actually pour this onto the Brilliance half sheet pan. So I already have that queued up right here. Let me just get my oven mitts on. These oven gloves are like life-changing. I love these things. Ooh. All right, these are so cool. And they work so well. I use them even when the oven's really hot, and I have no problems pouring or grabbing anything. I don't feel the heat at all. Okay, so I want to show you this. All that stickiness, and look how nice this just pours right out of this skillet. So amazing. Look at that. All right, and then you just want to spread this out on your pan. Let me just take my gloves off. And then you're going to let this cool right here. And then I just put this right, oh, by the way, I don't use the parchment paper on this pan. It's not gonna stick, okay? You can, I literally just pick this up by the handful and put it into your mason jar. Use it under the kitchen funnels if you need to. My hands are really small, and I buy the wide mouth jars, so my hand actually fits in the jar. My kids laugh at me, but so I don't need to use a funnel. So if you have small hands like I do, you can just shove it right into a wide mouth mason jar. And this batch, the double batch, will fit in 3 jars, 3 1-quart jars. Okay, so I'm just spreading this out. Once it cools off, you get those clumps, you get that beautiful sweetness. You can see how nice this looks. And definitely toast your granola, because you can see that's how you get that color, that nutty flavor. All right, if you want the recipe, let me know. Just shoot me a message. All right, have a great day.